Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Anna. I'm on a 5-month solo journey in Southeast Asia and I have been making travel content to inspire people to get out there and travel more. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I love you. For today's video, I have something a little bit different. If you follow me on other socials, you know that I've been talking about how I'm going to do a budget discussion video. So this is going to be one of 6 videos that I'm going to be putting out. I did this, but 6 videos that I'm going to be putting out. This first one, I'm just going to be talking about my numbers. So if that's interesting to you, then keep watching. Just for my spending over the past month that I've been here in Asia. I'm actually coming up kind of fast on my 2nd month because this video is actually a little delayed. So I'm going to be posting another one of these like in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And at the very end, I'm going to do a grand finale of everything I've spent. Okay, so here is my screen. I just want to show you guys, I'm not going to be going over this entire thing in this video, but look at this beautiful thing I've been making. I'm so proud of it. Okay, so this will be pretty easy because I'm in Bali right now, and I came to Bali on the 29th, and my period that I am measuring is from the 28th to the 28th because I got in Asia on the 28th. Oh, my computer just died. Pause. So in the first month, I was in Thailand and Malaysia. Those were the only 2 places I was, and then I flew to Bali on the 29th, like I said. So over the past, I'm just gonna start with telling you guys the grand total for the first month because I know you guys are curious and I'm the kind of person that likes to eat the nicest looking thing in front of me first. So the total for the first month was $1,840.71. And let's go over the specifics on that. Let's start with accommodation. So between Thailand and Malaysia, over the month I spent $666.09. Within that, the part of that from Thailand was $347.89, and the part from Malaysia was $318.20. I arrived in Thailand on November 28th, 2024. And then I was in Thailand until December 12th. I was in Thailand for exactly 14 days, which means that I averaged at $24.84 per night. Now for Malaysia, I was in Malaysia from December 14th until December 28th, which means I also was in Malaysia for exactly 14 days, so 2 weeks. That means I averaged my accommodation per night at $22.44. So if we add it all together at $666.09, $22.20 for my accommodation average. Okay, let's move down to the activities. So this, I actually added massages and any kind of tourist attraction type things that I wanted to do. For activities in Thailand, I spent $51.59, and in Malaysia, I spent $58.27. In Malaysia, I did do some cable car attractions and stuff like that, and I think that's what made it go up a little bit more, but it's still fairly similar. So if we look at the Thailand total for the activities, I averaged at $3.68 per day. And if we look at the Malaysia total for activities, I averaged at $4.16. That means I averaged at $3.66 for activities, which is really good. Okay, so let's move down here to food. I know a lot of you guys find that interesting. So for food, I averaged at $484.59. And in Thailand, I averaged $227.57, and in Malaysia it was $257.02. So you can see a lot of these numbers are pretty comparable with each other, just slight differences. And I actually didn't know I was in each place for the exact same amount of time, so I think that's kind of cool. So for Thailand, per day that I was there, I spent on average $16.25, And for Malaysia, I spent on average $18.35. So if we look at the total over here, I spent on average $16.15 per day in the month in those two countries. Okay, and then I did make a little segment for laundry. Obviously, I don't need to do laundry a crazy amount. These numbers are kind of silly to crunch, but you know, that's what we're here for. So for the month, I spent $8.11, and for Thailand, it was $4.11, and for Malaysia, it was $4. So basically the same. So in Thailand, I spent on average of 29 cents per day on laundry, and in Malaysia, I spent on average 28 cents per day. And if we combine them together, then I only spent 27 cents on laundry per day. Moving down to miscellaneous, so these numbers are a little bit different because I had to buy some unexpected stuff in Thailand. Just like I needed to buy a charger and this little like SD card thing for my computer, so that honestly was like really unexpected, and it made me spend more on this category. But anything random, I decided to just put on this category because I didn't know where else to put it. And I do think this is relative to you and your trip if you travel, because odds are you're gonna forget something random, something might break. You just kind of want to budget for that extra little bit of money. Okay, so for the miscellaneous category, I totaled at $53.66. Like I said, I had to buy some extra stuff in Thailand, so my Thailand total was $44.62, and then my total for Malaysia was $9.04. I don't remember what the miscellaneous thing was that I needed, but obviously it was something. So for Thailand, I averaged at $3.18 for the miscellaneous, and for Malaysia, I averaged at 64 cents per day on miscellaneous things. And if we look at the total number over here, I averaged spending $1.78 for the month on miscellaneous things. So the next category I have here is money, because whenever you need to pull out of an ATM, you need to exchange money, you have a conversion rate fee, you're gonna have to spend money on those things. So I decided to just make an entire category out of that. So this is the money I had to spend to get my money. And there are things you can do to get around that. You can get certain cards that waive these fees. I didn't do that, but next trip I will. So my total for this was $49.95, which kind of seems like a lot to just like get your money that you have. But like I said, it can easily be avoided. So in Thailand, $30.64. I got kind of burned by an ATM in Thailand, but I'm just grateful it didn't eat my card, because I know that happens to people. And then in Malaysia, my total was $19.31, so quite a bit lower. It honestly was probably from ATM fees. Those are the biggest fees I think that you'll end up paying, and it can easily be avoided if you have the right kind of card. Basically, for Thailand, on average, I spent $2.18 per day on the money fees. And in Malaysia, I spent an average of $1.37 on money fees. And if we look at the total for the money category, I spent on average $1.66 on money fees. The nice thing if you're doing a budget like this is, like you can see, it does even out if you do have a surprise thing you have to pay for. Most times it'll even itself out. Okay, now the last category I have here is transportation. This is scooters, ferries, flight, grab, shuttle, and tuk-tuk. So the total I spent here was $468.45. Now, I want to say this feels like a little bit high, and I think it's because I had a couple of flights where I kind of screwed up. I didn't go the budget route either. I did fly more than ground travel, and that's just because my cards were acting up and I couldn't actually buy tickets for certain things I wanted to do that would have been more budget, but ended up not being available because I couldn't get my card to go through on them, which is also why a travel card is a good idea. Listen to my advice. Okay, so For Thailand, I spent $230.29, which has me averaging at $16.44 per day. And in Malaysia, I spent $238.16, very similar to the other number, actually more, which is kind of funny, which has me averaging at $17.01. And if we look at the grand total for transportation, that has me averaging at $15.61. Now I want to say before I add up all these averages is my average I intended to have for this trip is $66 per day. I would say that this is a comfortable budget to have. It's definitely not a crazy budget. So whatever budget you pick is really just depends on how much money you can save, what you feel comfortable doing. I only did hostels and stuff like a few times. I did a lot of Airbnbs, and I did a mixture of street food and restaurants and all of that stuff. But there are ways that you can do this cheaper, and I will have tips on that in a future video, so stay tuned for that. So let's get this out of the way. So when I added up all of these numbers, my total for this was $45.18, which in my opinion is really good. As I said, my budget was $66, and it's good to be under budget if you can, because for example, I've been in Bali and it's been a lot more expensive than other places that I've gone. So I was able to have a certain amount of money from my budget saved from this previous month. So that's actually been really helpful, and I'm really grateful that I have a little bit of wiggle room. You also will travel in places where everything is just generally more expensive. And if you want to travel in more budget countries, I think sticking to Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos is kind of going to be like your success with that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to be releasing another one fairly soon for my next month. I also am heading off to Cambodia tomorrow, so gonna have some more travel vlogs coming, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.